Where is she? Where is she? She should be here by now. What kind of unnecessarily long scenic route did they take? But there you are. Are you okay? After staying by your side every hour of the day, not seeing you for 3 entire days has been absolutely miserable. Let's have a look at you. No bruises, no tears. No, you look completely fine. That's a relief. You don't know how worried. Oh, oh no, Your Highness. I assure you, there's no need to worry about me. That scuffle you saw last time? Didn't leave a single scratch, I promise. But it's such a relief to be reunited with you again. These past 3 days have been so hectic that I barely had a second to spare. And when I did, you filled my thoughts every single time. Oh, but you must be eager to return to your duties, I'm sure. Here, Your Highness. Please allow me to guide you to your seat. You do have a certain worn-out look about you. I would know, having stayed by your side all those nights you had to work through, because your advisors wouldn't do their actual job. Here, grab my arm. No, I must apologize, Your Highness. But I insist that you take the seat instead. I'm aware that this must come across as unusual to you. But I give you my word that you will get your explanation in but moments. Gentlemen, if you please, let this meeting commence right away. We have much to sort out after this time of disorganization. I'd like to begin this meeting by expressing my gratitude to those whose invaluable aid has been lent to this noble cause. It is thanks to you that we all stand here now today. Now, if we move on to more urgent matters, I'd like to introduce the person sitting next to me. You are familiar with her, I'm sure. You have known her as your queen, your ruler, the one who took care of each and every one of you, of us. And you will still know her as such. You will address her as such, and you will respect her as your queen. However, you will know me as your king. Let me be clear, this is not a declaration of marriage. This is not a usurpation of the throne. But let it be known that this land will be led by 2 people from now on. That'll be all for now. You are dismissed. Now, Your Highness, you must have many questions. I'm very aware. I wouldn't be surprised if you thought of this as a betrayal. I can see it in your eyes. Those storming emotions you're just waiting to let out as soon as we're out of the public eye. Let me assure you, though, that I have no ill intent with any of these actions. Let us talk in here. This should be privacy enough. You're angry. Yes, I admit, I definitely deserve that. But watch your hands. My armor will leave such an ugly bruise on them if you keep hitting against it like that. Please, Your Highness. It would pain me to see you hurt in any way, even if it's by your own doing. Which brings me to the actual point we need to address. This, whatever you'd like to call it. Usurpation? No. I wouldn't call it such a negative thing. I'm not robbing you of the throne. After all, I've seen how the state of this country has affected you. Your body, your mind, your everything. I haven't seen an honest smile on that face of yours for much too long, and that absolutely kills me. That shining personality that everyone fell in love with seemed to seep away with every turn the land took for the worse. These past months, you've been so stressed out that I've barely been able to recognize you. It may not be the subtlest way of showing it, but this is my way of supporting you, Your Highness. I want to take on part of that responsibility that weighs so heavily on your shoulders, to give you a chance to breathe and find your way back to that radiant sun you were. There's nothing more I want to do than to stay by your side and help you bring this country back to the flourishing center of commerce, beautiful scenes of culture, and prosperous home that has been to so many of your people, our people. What are you going to do from now on? Your Highness, you're still the Queen. I have no intentions of making you anything less than who you grew up to become. You will rule the same as before, make the same decisions as you would have. Only now, you won't have to stand alone. You will remain that steadfast, strong woman that you have proven again and again to be. And I? Why, I'll be your supporting pillar, especially during those council meetings that you always dread going to. You were a lone sparrow, struggling in the restless winds of a storm you didn't choose to dive into. Those advisors saw a young woman fighting to satisfy the demands of everyone, someone they can throw their weight around with, bully into giving them advantages no sane person would agree to. And you did a wonderful job, Your Highness. I'm sorry to say this, however, because I did go behind your back to do this, but I replaced every single one of them. They had grown complacent with their duties, drunk on greediness that steered their actions. We will not have corrupt advisors guide our decisions. There's far too much at stake if we're to revive this land. Your Highness, are you crying? No. There's no need to. You were scared? I'm sorry, Your Highness. I was scared too. This was a reckless, dangerous plan. There was so much that could go wrong. But I had to go through with it. It wasn't meant to happen unless the country was on the verge of falling into ruin. However, that general you asked me to keep an eye on? Yes, one of your late father's men. He forced me to act sooner than I would have liked. You see, he was planning on taking your castle, dethroning you, throwing you out of the castle to the wolves. I couldn't have let that bastard do that to you, so I had to stop him. It's no excuse for betraying your trust in this way, but I don't want you to think that I did this for some selfish reason, like power or greed. Well, yes, of course I do have more power now than I did as your personal guard. You have all the makings of a ruler while I don't. Not yet. So, I will learn by your side. I'm sure that it'll take time for me to regain your trust, Your Highness. How long, I do not know, but eventually, I hope we'll be able to work together again to achieve those wonderful dreams you have. Very well, Your Highness. I will take my leave. You must have a lot to think through. You have my word, if you can still find yourself to trust it, that no one will treat you like anything but the ruler you are. We will save this land. Together.